Hello and welcome to another episode of the OBearry podcast. I'm here today with Anne Dorko. Dorko? How do you say your last name?
It's Anne Dorko.
Anne Dorko. I'm so sorry. That's terrible. We just met, but we are really passionate about spreading positivity, so I think it's going to be all right. That was not... Oh, okay. I already embarrassed myself, so now you know you can't go wrong. I did it for you and everyone else. I'm the weird kid here, so yeah, I'm doing my best. It doesn't always work out, but it's going.
You can only try.
And we're live on Twitch, so if there is anything weird happening, or if we are interrupted, or if you find this podcast a little bit strange, it's because this is happening live on Twitch, where we like to be and live stream. And I am here together with an artist, Anne, not Anne. What is it's that's the thing. And Anne will play. Anne is an artist, producing music, playing music, live, and recording music. So you are gonna give us a song right away, just to give us a sample, get a feel for what you do and who you are. So just feel free to take it away anytime you like now.
All right, this song is called Affirmations. So we'll dive right into it.
Let's dive.
I am whole, I am worthy, I am real, I am deserving, I am kind, I am here, I am wonderful, I have no fear. Affirmations of who we are. Affirmations whispered in the dark. These are affirmations I need to believe. Affirmations, 'cause who I am is shaped by how I see. I am strong, I am brave, I am patient, I know what to say, I am open, I'm in control, I am the future, I love my heart and soul. Affirmations of who we are. These affirmations whispered in the dark. These are affirmations I need to believe. Affirmations, 'cause who I am is shaped by how I see. Shaped by how I see. I am loving, I am loved, I am beautiful, I always rise above, I am creative, I am free, I forgive myself, I get by with ease. Affirmations of who we are. These affirmations whispered in the dark. These are affirmations I need to believe. Affirmations, 'cause who I am is shaped by how I see. Affirmations affirmations of who we are. These affirmations whispered in the dark. These are affirmations I need to believe. Affirmations, 'cause who I am is shaped by how I see. Shaped by how I see. Ta-da!
Yay! That was awesome. Thank you so much for that song. Nice. Woo!
Thanks for the claps.
Live clapping. Live clapping is something that as a streamer you really like miss. You know, you go on your stream and you just feel great about what you do. You know you're a superstar. But then you finish the song, it's just, quiet.
Yeah. I have an applause sound alert, so that
I was trying to push my clap sound effect. It didn't go off, so I'm a bit disappointed. But and then I can clap. I have hands.
That's the thing I can do.
I have hands. I forgot the stream deck. Yeah, I forget that I'm human. I have a stream deck. Thank you. Thank you for that beautiful song. It's called Affirmations, right?
Yes, Affirmations.
Why did you write that song? How did...
This is a song, so this song has a couple of different types of inspirations. One part is that for a while I was doing a lot of meditation in the morning, and that came with some affirmations that I was using every day.
Right.
And then additionally, just seeing a lot of the habits of the way people self-talk themselves down. Like, oh, I'm not very good at this, or I suck at doing that, or I hate how I can't do this. Like, I hear a lot of people, or see a lot of people, whether it's in my community or in other people's communities or just lots of places, the tendency is to downplay what you can do or not.
Yeah.
And I think it's really important to acknowledge what you are good at and to start believing better things about yourself. And I think that helps the way that you frame things and the way you look at things and the way that you tackle things. And so I wanted to take these affirmations that I was kind of already using in my own morning routine and bring them to the people that I felt like could really stand to use some of that kind of positive affirmation in their lives. Because if you make it a catchy song and people sing it to themselves, they're suddenly saying really, really great things to themselves about themselves. So that's
it's very clever. You trick people into a better self-esteem and into a better, more positive mindset.
Exactly.
And so you wrote it for yourself as well, and for other people. Like, was it like, did you realize it like on in one occasion, like, oh yeah, I'm gonna write this song? Was it like a slow process of like?
I mean, it was a little bit of the uh-oh. Are we still here? Something just crashed on my end. Okay, we're still good.
I see you, I hear you, and I think everyone else do too.
Something jumped on my screen and I couldn't see the video anymore.
You're fine. Oh, no. You're still here, I think.
Excellent. Yeah, so I always struggled with affirmations because I felt really silly saying them. Yeah. Like, I felt silly because, like, a lot of times they're like, look at yourself in the mirror and say a positive thing to yourself about yourself. And that always felt really silly, and I really struggled with it. And so coming to the actual using of affirmations for me was a long process.
Yeah.
And I had recently kind of gotten over my own weird pride about saying good things to myself about myself.
Right.
So, like, for me, this song was also kind of acknowledging that I was using affirmations, that they were helping me, and that they were useful. So putting into song format as something that I'm promoting was making me face my own weirdness about affirmations and be like, own it. Own the affirmations.
I gone through that same thing where I listened to affirmations, just lying down, listening to an audio, like someone telling you, you are beautiful, you're amazing, like you deserve to be treated well and with respect. And if you're not used to it, then it can feel really weird, and especially in the beginning, because you never talk to yourself that way. You never do that. If you're honest with yourself, you're not very kind. Like you don't say kind things to yourself very often. You like sometimes other people say nice thing about you, and that is hard for you. Like, and that's hard for you.
Accepting compliments.
So just complimenting yourself is like even worse, because then you also feel like this, egotistical, like, like weird person talking to yourself, just saying these fluffy dovey things. But I got over it, and I was just, you have to kind of just, let it go and try to relax and get used to it. Just expose yourself to affirmations like regularly until you ease into it a little bit and can relax more and can accept it, more of it. And it actually really helped. And I it's so clever to put it into a song, which is really cool. And that's actually like, it's part of your, like, a bigger thing that you're doing, a bigger mission. From what I understand, you want to spread positivity, but so you have a mission. So tell us about this mission that you have. What is it that you're trying to do?
Well, my mission / tagline for everything that I'm doing is combating anxiety with chaotic good. And where that comes from is I was diagnosed with severe anxiety, like a general disorder of severe anxiety, back a while. I don't remember how old I was. So I've always had really intense anxiety and dealt with that and gone through a lot of journey figuring out how to manage that. And then I am a chaotic person who does lots of good things.
Yeah.
So just deciding that what I want to do and to kind of focus some of my chaos in a little bit of a way is just to think, how am I helping myself or other people deal with their anxiety with what I'm doing? So that's
how long ago was it that you were diagnosed, or like
over a decade ago?
Right.
Well, I was in my teens. Yeah.
So but when did you start on this mission? Because did you have to go on your own, like, journey to combat it yourself first and get over some of it before you could start, take it on as a mission, like, for others?
I mean, I think I've always kind of internalized this as I've only had this phrase, like this very specific phrase, for the past year or so. But if you look at and I came up with it though by looking at the course of my life and the things that I tend to do. The types of things that I tend to do is help other people with problems that I'm familiar with. So just realizing that was something I was kind of already doing as a pattern, because I could see the struggle I had been through, and I saw the kinds of destructive choices I had made, and I don't want other people to go through a lot of the stuff that I went through to learn the lessons that I did. So wanting to take all the experiences that I've had and help other people try to figure out, obviously everyone has to learn their own lessons and figure out their own things in their own way. But I like to hope that my stories and my experiences and my perspective, because of those, can help someone to kind of skip over some of the more traumatic stuff.
Are you using mostly your own personal experiences of combating anxiety? Is that what you're using the most, or did you get therapy or courses, or where are you drawing your wisdom from?
So it's a mixture of a lot of things. I have been to therapy. I've trying to find the best way to explain this. I have 8 siblings. 5 of them are adopted, and they're all from the same family. And my mom is a behavioral psychologist. I've just seen a lot. And I've been around a lot of trauma, and I've been around a lot of mental health disorders, and I've been around a lot of professional handling of those disorders.
Right.
So a lot of it wasn't necessarily that I was trained in a course, but my mom's a doctor of psychology, so I just kind of trust a lot of her ways of dealing with things, and I've absorbed a lot of her methodologies for things. You
That
know.
sounds so great though. Like it's like kind of like for me, I was like maths in school. A lot of people hate
Hmm.
maths, but I had a maths teacher as a dad. So I
Nice. Yeah.
kind of picked up a few things, at home. Like it
Yeah.
kind of helped me through maths. But you had something even like a bigger problem than maths,
Yeah. A
and
little bit.
also like having that. Yeah, so has she been very supportive and like really
Oh yeah.
like super helpful? Okay, yeah. You have a good
Very.
relationship as well.
Yeah, I've my mom is probably one of my favorite people in the whole world.
Mm.
She's incredibly supportive, you know, and her concern is my happiness. And
Wow.
that's really
Yeah.
like that's it. So at the
That's
end of the day, that's always very empowering to know that I can take any problem, like literally any problem to her, and she's going to be open about it, and she's going to want to help me figure out how to deal with it.
that's beautiful. That's what you'd like to. That's yeah. It sounds like a parent, the way a parent should be. When it's
Yeah.
like good. Uh, do, let's see. Do I go more into your backstory or do I jump into your like mission? Um,
It's
like
it's all whatever sounds good and interesting to
I
you.
mean, it's all interesting. Let's talk more about your mission to combat anxiety with a chaotic positivity. Did I say that? Wait a minute.
Chaotic good, but
Chaotic good.
positivity.
It's just chaotic good. So tell us more about your music. What are you doing more with your music? Because I know you have a lot of stuff going on.
um, let's see. With the music, so I started writing music I've played around with music since I was a kid, so I've been doing music for a long time. But I started doing this kind of music for about 4.5 years now. I think no, it's been much longer. It's been over 6 years because I wrote my first song in this kind of direction of personal growth and like self discovery in 2013. And I was writing music as things were happening to me and I needed to deal with them. And
Right.
writing music was kind of how I was dealing with those things. Um, and so a lot of my earlier songs are also much more sad
Yeah.
because I was going through other stuff. Um, but the music was helping me process and keep. So it's a lot of bittersweet lyrics because I'd be like, okay, this sucks, but hopefully things get better. And a lot of the things. Um, and then as I continued writing music and as life kept getting better, it was kind of, there's like some themes of like finding home. And at the beginning songs, it's like, okay,
Wow.
I'm going to go look for a home. And then it's like, okay, I'm starting to feel like I have an emotional
Wow.
home. So it's a lot of just personal development and journey going through that music and then realizing how strong and how
Yeah.
helpful that was with those songs. And then as I would slowly start sharing those, people were like, wow, this is like very helpful for me too. And I was like, oh, maybe I should share the music more.
Do
Because
you feel
yeah.
like those old songs that have more of a struggle in them, do
Mm-hmm.
you still are those songs that you're promoting today as well to give people like the like, or are those songs that you would rather like keep off an album, or because they are
Some of
like,
them, yeah,
are they
some of
too
them
dark? Are they too dark to be on a positive album? Or
I think it's important to show the journey,
yeah,
just in the sense that part of why I think a lot of people write off positivity is because they think you didn't go through the things that they've gone through. They don't think that you have understood like the depth of pain that they're experiencing. So in their minds, they're writing off your advice because they don't feel like it's coming from a place that's being understood for them. Um, so I do think that I have songs from those first songs that uh, I still sing and I still perform. Some of them were a little more personal than others, and I keep those private. But there are still plenty of songs that have similar themes from my earlier songwriting days that I still do perform, and I probably will do on an album at some point, just to kind of show like here's like the origin story of why
you
I
could do an
think the way that
album
I
with a
do.
dark side and a light side.
Right.
And like you could have both perspectives. Like this is the dark. Like this is what's on the
Yeah.
backside of positive. This is what it looks like before you actually reach happy. Like your
Right.
the like find yourself or like discover
Yeah.
your truth about who you are and who you want to be and your passions in life. Like, and there's the dark side. And it could be like a black and a bright, like different colors on the album. Okay. No one
Yeah.
do physical copies anymore. So
I
maybe
know.
that's like it could be like a digital design. Okay, anyway. But
There's a
I
lot you could
think
do with it.
I think you're right that if you're a positive person, some people will have a hard time relating to you because to them you just seem like this kind of like a happy plastic doll that never
Right.
actually gone through anything bad, and now you're just happy because you're happy, and then it's more difficult to relate to a person that you don't feel like you have any shared experiences with.
Right.
So like sharing the journey in that sense, but you don't also want to you don't want to get stuck in the mug,
Yeah.
in the dark, in the stuff. So how much do you struggle today with anxiety?
I have I've worked really hard on habits that keep things at bay. I do think there's a lot you can do. I do a lot more preventative stuff for anxiety than I ever have before, and it helps keep things less anxious. However, I know that on the grand spectrum, I'm still a million times more anxious than I should be. So, relative to where my anxiety was before, it's much better. However, compared to the average, I think it's still pretty high. But for me, I've brought it down to a pretty manageable point. When I go through, I still have like anxiety attacks or really more depressive episodes, which kind of build on themselves. But I'm better able to recognize them now and why I'm dealing with things a certain way or why I'm thinking about things a certain way, and start catching what that is, and make sure that I'm not dropping those habits that help me overall stay at a higher level of like mindset. So it's not that it's not there, and that I think it would come back full force if I dropped my habits and if I stopped staying vigilant. So I don't think it's disappeared or gone anywhere.
Yeah.
I've developed habits, and I've worked really hard to make sure that I keep my perspective the way that I want it to be instead of the way the anxiety is trying to make it, which just helps my day to day be a lot better and a lot nicer. So things are just much more manageable. So I think I've reached a level that's manageable. Let's put it that way. I can't come up with another way.
I mean, and also like you can't really compare to anyone else because you are on your journey to combat your own anxiety and at your own pace in your own way, and what works like and you are doing better. Like that's how you measure success. Like you are improving, like, and you are trying to like. But so if there is someone out there is listening to this and like they maybe deal with anxiety, they might have anxiety attacks, or just maybe a negative mindset, like where do you start? How do you start? Let's say they like what, because you talk about habits, for example, how do you implement a new habit, like, or how do you even like recognize that you need, okay, where do you start?
Yeah.
That's my question. I ask like a million questions. When I have a question, I actually ask like 100 questions. But
same.
Where do you start if you're like if you don't know everything that you know? Like what would you say? Where do you start?
I mean, a lot of it is, for me at least, it's been a lot of self-introspection. So I think it's being able to look at yourself and seeing what you're struggling with without being judgmental of yourself. Because the first step, in my opinion, is to stop judging yourself. Because I think that a lot of reasons like people don't get help, or like they don't think that they need help, is because if they think, well, I have anxiety, their judgment of being a person with anxiety is preventing them from accepting that they have anxiety and should take some steps to deal with it. Or you know, there's just these things where if you are judging yourself for being a certain way that you wish you weren't, you're not going to be able to accept that that's where you're at, and you got to meet yourself where you are and love
Right.
yourself where you are.
Yeah.
Even if you want to be better, you want to be different, that's okay. That gives you some goals, but you have to be able to meet yourself where you are, to accept where you are, and figure out how to fill that gap between where you wish you could be and where you are now.
Yeah.
So I feel like some self-introspection to really identify what could be going on here without judging yourself for it. And then you can start figuring out, okay, what are the things that I could do to be the person that I want to be instead? I don't know.
It's like this. That's the first step. It's a great step. And I heard it before, and I heard it used by therapists before. Like, you can't help someone if you don't go to where they are. You have to meet a person where they are to actually be able to help them, and you have to do that with yourself, which is weird because we don't think about ourselves the way we think about other people. When we look at other people, we're quick to, like, assess and analyze, and maybe, like, if it's a friend, we're quick to help out, like, oh, I want to help you, I'm gonna help you, I hope you feel better. And then when it comes to ourselves, we're just looking from afar at ourselves and judging ourselves and like talking down to ourselves. This is like such a weird, like, why do we think that it's okay to treat ourselves so differently from how we treat other people? It's really, I don't know. It comes from, I guess, like, just, I don't know, upbringing and like ideas in the society, and I don't know. But stop judging yourself. That's a great one. It's a great one.
Yeah.
You talked about, I think you mentioned maybe even before the podcast, like meditation.
Yeah.
Is that something you still do?
I'm not doing it right now, but not because I don't want to. It's just because I have been overcommitted on time, and that is one of the habits that I've let go, which is not, it isn't on purpose that I let it go, but it isn't on purpose that I'm not, like, I'm not intentionally creating the time for it, which means that it's not happening. So I wish that I were, and it's one of the things I'm going to start fitting back into my schedule really soon. I was overcommitted on time for a bunch of responsibilities pretty much this last month. So a lot of things that I've kept up with the bare minimum of my good habits, and now that things are slowing down, I'm going to be introducing it back into my morning routine. And I think meditation is very valuable. Meditation is another thing I felt really silly doing for a long time, and I wouldn't do it because it just felt silly. But again, once I finally just like got over my own weird pride and did it and let it be what it was, it's been very, very helpful. And this year, especially now that I've really started doing it, again, not this past month, but overall, it's really helped me start recognizing when an anxiety attack is setting in. And because what part of the meditation that I do is I use Headspace, and part of those practices is to have a thought and then let it go. Like, you're allowed to have a thought, but then you just practice letting that thought go. And when you're doing that every morning with just your random thoughts, when those feelings of anxiety come in, or those judgmental feelings, you can go, oh, well, that's an interesting thought, I'm gonna let it go, like I practiced. And that's it. It doesn't always work, but it works a lot of the time. So I've had things where I can feel what would normally send me into a bad spot for like the rest of the day or even a week, and I can feel that coming. And thanks to the practice of meditation, it's a lot easier for me to see it, recognize it, and say, I'm gonna just let this pass. And it does more often than not. So it's really, really helpful.
Great, thank you. And I had a question. Like, sometimes I have 100 questions, and then I like, then it's no question.
And they all leave you.
Right. But what is there, like, is it difficult to like have a mission to spread good, but also struggle with it at the same time? Do you sometimes feel like you don't want to help others, or that you can't help others because you're just not in that, like, you're not there mentally or physically, or like in the right mindset, where it's just do you ever give up on your mission, or do you feel like it's carrying you?
I think carries me pretty well. Um, there are days where I know I'm not in a good headspace, like where I know that the way that I'm perceiving and interpreting things is overly negative. And in those moments where I know that that's the case, I do try to engage less on like a one-to-one basis with somebody. Like if they're asking for specific advice about something, I'll be like, you know what, I'm kind of in a negative space at this moment, so I may interpret this in a more negative way than I should. So I'm not comfortable giving you advice right now
Right.
because I'm afraid that I'm going to put I'm afraid I'm going to project my negative thoughts at the moment. So in those exact moments, in specific more one-to-one situations, yes, I have felt that way, that I need to step back. But overall, no. Like anytime that I'm going through an especially difficult time, that actually just bolsters like my strength about that this is something that more people need to be taking on, because I think a lot of the a lot of the issues we all deal with come from the fact that it's not culturally acceptable on a lot of levels to deal with mental health issues, or there's just a lot of societal like things that make it more difficult to exist on this planet because we're all judging ourselves, we're all judging each other, and it's very, very stressful to constantly be there. And so for me to say, you know what, we should be all figuring out, yes, negative things exist. It doesn't mean they're not real. It doesn't mean we don't need to deal with them. But I think if more people focused on creating the positive and being the positive, we would have less of the negative to worry about to begin with. So that way we could just reduce the overall negativity that's needing to be dealt with, because if we're all trying to be the best version of ourselves, things will be getting better. So for me, whenever I'm going through something really difficult, it just strengthens the fact that I think this is something that I need to keep championing and hoping to help get other people to champion as well.
So your own struggle is reminding you of the need of, like you said, championing it. It's a nice word to use, because it's a battle, right? You kind of,
It really
it
is.
sounds like to you like it's a battle that you do, combating the anxiety.
Yeah.
It's because it's a combat and it's a struggle. Sometimes there's blood and sweat and tears.
Yeah. Really though.
but yeah, but keep doing it. And so what are something like you're using music, that's like the biggest thing that you use, and
Yeah.
try to like spread these kind of like positive ideas and mindsets, and like what is it that you tell us more about your different songs. Like are there some songs that are more important to you personally, and maybe I think I know you wrote songs for other people as well, but do you want to
Yeah.
like talk more about a little bit more about your songs? What different songs did you write, and like
Hmm.
tell us a little bit about them.
Um, let's see. Hmm. I mean, so again, going back a little bit to the earlier songs, a lot of it was I was dealing with heartbreak and also just instability of I literally was moving locations or traveling a lot. So there's just a lot of instability emotionally and physically. So just writing about my thoughts of this existing in this weird space of in between and not quite feeling like you have a belong, like you belong somewhere, but then holding on to this idea that you're gonna figure it out. um, I have quite a few songs in that realm, and those were my anthem because I needed to hold on to the idea that these were my feelings, yes, and acknowledge them and then move forward. But really, I think once I started actually finding my footing in life, those songs became much more significant because they represented these like turning points for me. So the song that's kind of become my channel anthem on accident is called Versions of Me, and it was based on a bicycle tour that I did in 2015. I went from San Diego, California to Salt Lake City, Utah on bicycle by myself.
How big is that trip for us who are not like good at?
I think I cycled 555 miles in that realm. So what is that in kilometers? Hold on, I can Google it
Not
for you.
sure. How many days did it take you? How many?
It was a 30-day bicycle tour, and I took there was some really bad weather in the middle of that. So like 5 or 6 days was me staying. I found someone to stay with randomly in a small city or town,
Oh,
really.
okay.
And I just stayed with them for a few days. So it wasn't full bicycle every day, but pretty much. So that was 895 kilometers. I just Googled it.
Wait, 1800?
800,
800.
895.
895. Wow. Okay, okay, okay. Yeah. It's still a
And that
lot.
was, it
Yeah.
was all uphill because
Oh,
it was from
all
the
uphill. Oh my god.
it, I mean, there were some downhills, but
Yeah, of course there
overall,
was.
I
Yeah.
went from ocean level to over a mile up in
Oh, yeah, yeah,
altitude.
yeah.
So it was a very difficult journey, and there were literally days like one of the lyrics in that song is it's okay to take it 5 minutes at a time. And there is literally I had a GoPro with me, and I took footage of this whole thing. And one of the days I was literally going up this like I don't even think it didn't sound like a big incline. It was like a 5% incline, but that's actually really a lot when it's very hot and you're in the desert and you have like 90 pounds of bike.
Oh.
Um, and so
Oh my goodness.
I I literally I would set the timer on my watch or my phone or whatever for 5 minutes and just try to cycle for those 5 minutes till I heard the timer and then take a break because I was dying. And
Wow.
so and then I have video of me just being like, just 5 more minutes, just 5 more minutes. You can always do 5 more minutes. I really couldn't sometimes, but
Like one more
like,
minute.
so a lot of these lyrics were very directly from that experience. And what I loved about that experience was it took all this like emotional journey I had been going on, and it just kind of was super therapeutic to go out and just do this feat where every day my only goal, the only responsibility I had was to keep cycling and keep moving and get where I was going so I could set up camp and do it all over again the next day. And it was just very simple. And I was out on my own, so I could literally just be talking to myself out loud to like deal with all these things. But yeah, so that song
Is
in particular, Versions of Me, came from a very specific
is
experience.
that a
And
pilgrimage? Is that what a pilgrimage is? Like you have a spiritual journey, like you go on an adventure, like, but it's actually like an emotional journey that you go
I
on
think so.
physically. If you know what I
Yeah.
mean. Is that why you went out to do this? Like, was this kind of? Did you have this at the
Yes.
back of your head? Like,
Oh yeah. I was getting out of a very toxic and controlling. It wasn't a romantic relationship, but it was a weird relationship. And I finally escaped from this bizarre situation I was in. And while I was still in it, trying to figure out how I was going to get out, I was like, I know I need to go do something to like detox from all of this. Um, and so I came up with, I knew I was going to go work in the mountains in Yellowstone for the summer. And I was like, well, I'm going to be in California. How am I going to get between the two places? What's something that I could do that's a lot of fun and different? And I came up with the the bicycle tour idea, and I was like, I've never done anything like that, and I think it'll be really interesting and adventurous. And yeah, I very much came up with it because I wanted something that I could just go be and exist and be away from people and process everything.
why, why the U.S.?
Because I'm from the U.S.
Yeah, there we go.
uh,
Anne is from the U.S. we
I grew up in Southern California,
there
so
we
all my
go.
family is
Yeah.
there. And then I was going. I have a lot of friends who have done a lot of different kind of work, and so I was going to be working out in the mountains at a resort near Yellowstone National Park, um, because of a friend of mine who did a lot of seasonal work, and so I found this job because she had been recommending it to me for years because she had her friends recommend it to her for years. So I finally just got a job and went out and worked there for the summer because I knew it would be in the middle of nowhere. There's no reception, there was no internet. So for a few solid months, I just got to go exist in the mountains also right after the bike tour. So it was a great summer.
Okay, cool. Why? Okay, so but you don't live in the U.S. now. You live in Germany.
Mm-hmm.
Why?
Yeah.
Why did you move?
So I left California in 2013, moved to Austin, Texas, met this person that turned into a weird toxic relationship, but we traveled around the world for like 9 months. And then when I was in New Zealand, I met Melina, who is now my girlfriend. She's German. and then we parted ways that summer. And then I got a one-way ticket out to Germany to meet her again. And I figured if things are good, I'll stay in Germany. If it was just a travel fling and we're not actually interested in each other, I'll keep traveling. And I've just been
Wow.
here ever since. So I came out in October 2015, if I have my dates right, and I've just ended up staying. I got a visa.
Wow. A lot of adventures
Yeah.
and a lot of pushing bikes uphill and a
Yes,
lot
lots
of
of pushing bikes.
emotional journeys.
Yes.
So it's easy, like it's easy to tell where your inspiration comes from, your own battles.
Yeah.
Like, and finding a way to create, like finding a creative outlet for those emotions that just, and all those thoughts, go around your head, and creating music and create something positive instead. I think
Yeah.
it's really admirable and a great way to spread positivity. And I that's one of the reasons why I like instantly felt like we had a connection, because I like the thing I say, like, spreading positivity, spread positivity. Like, we
Yeah.
treat everyone with kindness and respect, and remember to spread positivity. So
Mm-hmm.
already there, I felt like a connection. And you are focused. I also I sing and play the guitar a little bit. I don't produce my
Yeah.
own music the way you do at all, but like, so we have similar things. Like, but what is your like? So how do I like? I was gonna like turn this into a challenge where I like, or not a challenge, but like, I want to talk about how you can spread positivity in different ways. Like,
Mm-hmm.
you have songs, but are there other things that you want to do to spread positivity in the future? Do you have any plans for new things?
Let's see. I mean, so we talked a little bit about this off podcast, but there are some things I try to do with my community and just in general, like on Twitter, where I pose questions to people or I present opportunities to people to think in more positive ways. So I have an accountability channel in my Discord where I try to help people see how to set goals and follow through on their goals and come back and report how they're doing for accountability purposes. And I think that helps people a lot when they want to set something specific, or even if they're not the ones setting the goal in the channel, they're going to see other people and see what's working for them and what's not working for them. So hopefully they're learning how to kind of frame their own goals in a more positive way. And so that's that.
Yeah,
And I
that's
want
really
to do
cool.
I want to do more of that in the future. Right now it's a pretty small channel, and I think a lot of people are scared of posting their goals because they're afraid of failing. And
Mm,
I want to continue to encourage people that it's okay to set a goal and not reach it. It's part of the journey of figuring yourself out and figuring out what works for you. So I want to do more in that direction to really help people realize it's okay to set a goal and not reach it. Like that's
yeah,
honestly a huge part of learning how to set a goal,
right.
because I have set I have set many more goals than I've ever reached, and I've still gotten pretty far in life, and I've still accomplished a lot of things I'm really proud of. And I've set so many goals that I technically failed at, but I learned from that
Right.
process of failing at that goal, and it helped me set a better goal the next time. So helping people figure that out and being not afraid to share their goal, even if they think that they might fail at it, I want to help more in that direction. I haven't figured out how yet, but I want to figure that out. And on Twitter, I have scheduled every single day to go out to ask people what their proudest moment was,
Yeah,
so that people can think back on their day and figure out what are they actually proud of themselves
yeah.
for that day. And when you start thinking of the day as, okay, I want to do something I'm proud of, what does that mean to you? And like, what are you actually going to do to make sure that you did something that you can come up with
If
the
you're
next
listening
day?
to this podcast right now, take a second right now. Seriously, what are you
Yeah.
proud about? Like, something you did today. Is there something you're proud of? Take a moment. Okay, I'll just throw it out there. Well, and we can keep on. That's really cool. I love the
Yeah.
accountability channel to kind of make people own their own goals and give them, a way to help them achieve their goals, or try to achieve goals. Just set the goal and try to achieve it. and have
Yeah.
support along the way, because sometimes you're just
Yep.
so lonely, and a goal comes and then it goes, like you forget about it, you don't have anyone, no one else knows about it, and just, so that's really cool. And the tweet is,
Yep.
it's a really nice reminder too. So if you want to, if you don't want to forget about this, you should follow Anna's Twitter. So if we're gonna have these links to everything posted everywhere, but that's really cool too. And what is your goal with your music, like in the future? Like what? Because you just released an album.
Yeah, I just released my very first album. So prior to this album, I have never done music production before. It was always just me playing my guitar and singing. But I really want to do more published or more polished sounds and music production, and play and figure out what is my real sound that I want it to be. So this is my first time doing music production. So I produced it, published it from scratch, and in the future, I want to do much more. I have over 30 original songs already, and I plan on writing a lot more. And I want to continue just publishing the music, and hopefully, it can become my career at some point, to be cultivating this community, figure out what to do for my community to best help them, like with this accountability channel,
Yeah.
or if somebody thinks, I can't be proud of myself today, I don't have anything to be proud of, well, to challenge that, because there's always something, and to help them realize, like, help people realize that there's always something to be proud of, and if you're not proud of yourself for something, it means that you're being too harsh on yourself, really. And just finding ways to make that message more clear, and make it part of the cornerstone of whatever it is that I'm doing. So community plus music, and hope to eventually make that how I live. That would be really great, because then I could put all of my time into it.
That's awesome. Yeah, that's great. And I feel like something to remember is, like, even if you feel like you are not, successful at what you do yet, like, or really at the professional level you want to be at, you already have it as a career. Like, if you have it in your heart and if you want to do it, you're already succeeding at it.
Yeah.
But you're at a stage where you don't recognize, like, how great it is that you're, just the fact that you're doing it. And it's really inspiring to listening to you and talk to you about it. And I think it inspires a lot of people that listens to this too. We're gonna soon give you, like, you're gonna prepare to play another song for us for the end. For the end of the podcast. And it's been really good talking to you. And it's been really lovely to, and we're going to have, for those people who are on Twitch, we're going to have a few minutes after the podcast where we just do, if you have any questions for Anne, for me, we can happily answer them before we end the live stream. So yeah, thank you everyone for coming out and participating and listening. And I hope this, just help you feel a little bit more hopeful, a little bit happier to know that there are good forces in the world, just like Anne. So tell us about this next song, the song that you will play for us.
So I'm going to actually end on Be Kind, which really kind of reflects a lot of the things we literally just talked about. The whole, don't judge yourself too hard. You can always, like, find things that you want to improve on and motivate yourself towards goals, but that doesn't mean that you need to judge yourself so harshly so that you don't even start moving forward because you feel like you can't do it. It's very self-defeating. And this song in particular I wrote because I kept saying these words, obviously not in lyric format, but people would be like, coming to me, or I would see them struggling with something, and I'm like, look, this is a patience thing with yourself, because we spend years in bad habits or bad mind patterns, talking ourselves down, and then we think that one day of meditation is going to fix it. It's like when you start eating healthy, you want your body to act like you want it to act after 3 days of
right
eating healthy. Like, it takes time, and you're making progress. You just might not see it or recognize it yet. So you have to be kind and patient to yourself throughout that process. So that's really what this song is about. It's called Be Kind.
Awesome. Sounds great.
So,
looking forward
yeah.
to hear it. And
Ooh.
yeah, and thank you so much again. We're going to say goodbye after the song as well. But yeah, thank you so much, Anne, for coming on. And just, yeah, take it away whenever you feel ready. And we're just going to enjoy a song with Anne. There we go.
I see you standing there with all those hopes and cares, paralyzed, judging yourself right from the start. I see your hopes and dreams, things you think you can never be. But baby, you're the only you. It's time to play your part. Be kind, be patient, love. You are the one you're dreaming of. Be kind, be patient as you're falling in love with you. Be kind, be patient, love. You are the one you're dreaming of. Be kind, be patient as you're falling in love with you, with you. You'll always change and grow. There's little you can ever know. Life is on the move. Go on and take your chance. I promise you will make mistakes. Honestly, it's the only way. 'Cause baby, you are more than this. Your life is in your hands. Be kind, be patient, love. You are the one you're dreaming of. Be kind, be patient as you're falling in love with you. Be kind, be patient, love. You are the one you're dreaming of. Be kind, be patient as you're falling in love with you, with you. Others might help along the way, but it gets easier when you embrace the temporary, ever-changing, extraordinary way. Be kind, be patient, love. You are the one you're dreaming of. Be kind, be patient as you're falling in love with you. Be kind, be patient, love. You are the one you're dreaming of. Be kind, be patient as you're falling in love with you, with you. You're falling in love with you, with you. You're falling in love with you. Be kind, be patient, love. You are the one you're dreaming of. Be kind, be patient as you're falling in love with you. Be kind, be patient, love. You are the one you're dreaming of. Be kind, be patient as you're falling in love with you, with you. You're falling in love with you.
Yay! Bravo! Cheers and applause and claps. Yay! Thank you so much. Beautiful,
Thank you.
beautiful, beautiful song, great song. Guys, you can find Anne Dorko on Spotify. And where else can they find you?
Most major platforms like iTunes or Apple Music, whatever they're calling it these days. I think Deezer. There's other things. Google Play, Amazon. And my name, nobody has my name. So ANNEDORKO. If you Google it, you're going to find it everywhere.
Amazing. All right. We got to say goodbye and finish the podcast part of this live stream. So thank you so much, everyone. Take care. And remember to spread positivity and...
you got to keep combating anxiety with chaotic good.
That's right. Bye.
Bye.